Before you came to Genius Garage, what was your schooling and where did you want to go? If you watch the Speed Racer cartoon, those are referred to as nyok-nyoks.
Nyok-nyoks.
Because when you push the button, they go nyok-nyok-nyok-nyok. Why are you being so nice to them right now? They did lead you on.
They did, yeah. They led me on for a good 6-7 months.
It's a Mexican beer.
Yeah,
and also the name of something that's ruining the world right now.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, it's funny.
That's a good one.
It's funny.
That's a good one.
What's up, people? We are back today with the Tame Prototipo race car and two-hand cam who's working on it. It's come a long way since the last video where we put the two halves together. That was the engine and the transaxle, which are partially stressed members to the carbon fiber monocoque. So come on, let's go check out, see what Cameron's got going on. What's up, dude?
How's it going?
You know how it's going. It's hot as balls in here.
Yes, it is.
Why don't you come back here, you can actually see. All right, you guys, so a couple things you noticed. There were a few people who made comments that when the transaxle with the rear suspension was attached to the engine here, it had the billet aluminum mounts up front, and that's what we put it together originally to bring these. And some people are like, that doesn't look like enough structure. Well, you're right, it's not. This car also has this giant A-arm or trunnion, which mounts to the top of the roll cage and to either one of these two nodes on the side of effectively the transaxle, sort of the center section here that brings the transaxle back further, the engine further forward, and also houses the dry sump oil tank for the engine. Then it also has the A-arm trunnions on the side. These are triangulated throughout. They mount rigidly to these bosses or these hard points of the carbon fiber monocoque here, and then go back to these massive nodes right there. And then of course the rest of everything comes into play with the motor and the transaxle being partially stressed. So Kameron, what all have you done on this and what are you working on right now?
Well, since our last video when we had this thing together, we have been getting essentially, these trunnion A-frames on there, getting the cooling system hooked up, getting the wiring harnesses hooked up.
I see the two radiators.
Yep, we have both our radiators, which in order to mount these up, we needed to get these side pods on, so
yes,
they can be resting on there as well. And
the carbon fiber side pods here are very strong, but they look like they're a crushable type of thing. So if you wreck the car sideways,
yes, they would
deform.
Yep.
And then the strong part of the carbon fiber monocoque kind of terminates right about in here.
Yep.
Right?
It begins right about, right where you put your hand pretty much.
Okay. Now something I noticed, these are not very racy looking radiators. Are these streetcar radiators, do you think?
They might be. I'm not 100% sure, but they very well may be. There's two of them. So we definitely
they're pretty big.
Quite a big cooling capacity.
They don't look super efficient because the fins aren't. It doesn't look super modern is what I mean.
Yeah, no. It looks like these are probably the same radiators they used back in 1993.
Yeah, they look like from the 80s.
Yeah.
Now, so you got a manual there. What's up with that?
Okay, so this is the manual that Freddie Tame, who managed to get a hold of us and asked if we needed any help.
And he is the guy who designed and built these cars.
Yes, and he is the man who designed and developed and built these with Nissan. He actually managed to send us a PDF file, and we printed it out of the whole spec sheet and sort of parts listing. So there's a spec sheet of the vehicle.
And as a note, some people said they thought, when we said it was only going to be 1,098 pounds, they thought that was too light. Well, that's what it is, guys. It's just under 500 kilograms.
Yep.
And yeah, the horsepower is 257 horsepower at 7,250 RPMs and 210 foot-pounds at 6,000 RPMs. Okay. And that is a better power-to-weight ratio than the Formula Atlantic car I used to have.
Yep.
Okay, so what else we got here? Show them some of the things.
Oh, yeah. So then the rest of this is essentially this is all in Spanish.
Open!
But, yeah, we'll get opening here.
There's the trunnions.
Yep, there's our trunnions. It's an entire sort of parts listing.
Oil pump system.
That shows how everything goes together, how things are routed, lines are routed.
Oh, wow, look at that.
System. Our intake and injection system there. And, I mean, it just keeps going. We have our whole fuel bladder and fuel pickup system.
Yeah.
There's our fuel pickup system. There's our fuel fill system.
Wait, go back. I want to see something. Oh, that's fascinating. It's got a pump up here that goes to that. Man.
Yep.
Okay.
Very neat. There's our radiators, our cooling system, and it just keeps going all the way. I mean, the whole monocoque chassis and the gauges in there. Let's skip ahead a few pages. We got the steering.
Does it give you any baseline schematics for setting up the suspension or anything?
Just like, at least as far as putting it together, yes.
No, like in terms of like datum points and basic things in terms of starting and chassis rake and stuff like that.
No. Pretty much all this is just sort of putting it together.
Okay.
You know, it's almost like the instruction manual that the guys at the shop back in 1993.
Keep going. What else we got there?
You know, keep going.
Suspension parts.
Yep. There's all of our suspension. You know, more suspension. There's our push rod.
Yeah, the push rod actuated shocks. Yeah.
Right here. So.
Okay. Well, that's helpful.
Our braking system. I'm slowly learning how to read Spanish, so. Yep, there's our chassis. That's the whole
neat.
body
I like
there.
that diagram.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got?
And let's see what else we got.
The wheels, yeah.
Yep, the wheels, and we're getting close to the end here. The air jack system.
Okay, cool.
And that's basically it.
You learning some Spanish?
Yeah, learn how to at least read some.
Okay,
definitely getting better. So.
Okay, so where are you at right now? What's up? What's on the agenda here?
So right now, I'm currently hooking up the fuel injection system and the fuel rail that I have right at my knees here. Getting this hooked up. So
you put new O-rings on these things, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, these are all new O-rings. So we're gonna, and we also have new O-rings on the rail as well.
Okay.
So yeah, we're getting the fuel injection, fuel rail system hooked up here. And probably before we finalizing hooking it up, we'll probably just run the pumps, make sure that they have fuel.
Yeah, we'll have to prime them. There. And then obviously we'll have to prime the engine oil system, right?
Which is another thing we're working on today.
I see you slip the belt off so that you can get specifically to the pulley of the pump. If you want to look right here, this is a 2-stage dry sump pump. So what do we got here? We got one for scavenging of the engine down there at the pan, and then one for pressurizing the system. Yep. So we'll initially have to prime the inside of this with assembly lube or oil, fill everything up, and then spin it with probably a drill and a belt.
Yeah.
So we can prime the whole system before we start it.
Yep.
Okay. What else here now?
So as far as what else?
So we had 2 things go wrong today with people.
Yes.
Do you want to share that?
So yes, 2 things that went wrong. First, I'll share, I guess, what I broke. Or
okay. Let's see what you screwed up.
I'm not afraid to show up my screw ups. This male fitting here, which goes from the transaxle up, and this is a trans cooler line.
Yeah.
It connects right to here. It actually goes right up to the trans cooler. That was on there, and
it was sitting here like that.
Yeah, it was sitting there like that, and it was partially threaded as far as it looked, and I even was able to get a bit with my fingers. And then I proceeded to start tightening it up, and it felt relatively nice and normal. And then about halfway, it all of a sudden got very tight and not a very nice feeling way that we've all felt before. So I immediately took it off, and probably because these threads are old and fairly soft metal.
Oh, the excuses are coming.
Oh yeah, I gotta protect myself here.
Cameron cross-threaded it.
Pretty much.
You gotta try
on very easily.
Use your fingers first.
Yeah.
You should be able to wiggle the top and get it down with your fingers, and you got to be really careful.
Yeah. No, and yeah, I will say it did thread on.
Okay, so we got to take that apart and fix it now. Hopefully there's enough thread
Yeah, today.
Hopefully there's enough thread that we don't have to weld on a new boss.
No.
And then something else got screwed up by a random helper that decided to help today but wasn't really a part of this car.
Yes.
What happened there?
What happened there was they were working on bleeding the braking system.
Were you not supervising these numpties?
Not at this moment. I was out finding things to fix.
Why did they decide to come here and bleed the brakes?
Because I asked for the assistance. Well, they were offered assistance. I was like, hey, you can bleed the brakes. And one of the bleed screws snapped, like just shear.
I guess you got what you paid for on that labor, huh?
Yes, I did.
What did you learn from that as a chief mechanic type person?
Definitely it's nice to sometimes try and supervise, make sure they know what to... I mean, I wasn't here for when it broke, so I don't know what the full story was. But yeah, it's definitely one of those like, oh, I kind of wish I was here to at least maybe give them pointers like, hey...
You think we're still going to be able to test this thing next week, or do you think we're screwed because of those 2 things?
I'm not going to say we're screwed. Minor setbacks at the moment, but I think what's really going to dictate it is when we start this thing.
Hopefully it runs right and there's gears in the gearbox, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but then again, what is easy?
So. Well, it is an old car that you're bringing back to life.
Exactly.
It hasn't been running God knows how long. Okay.
Yeah.
But you feel pretty confident about the engine internals and everything you've done?
Yep. Everything I've done, I'm confident on. So, like I said, it won't be easy, but I think we'll be able to do it.
Okay, so what else? What's next?
Well, what's next?
You want to show them that fuel rail? You can put that on?
Yep.
What are these things? What are these?
So these are the air jacks, and we took these off so we can get to this fitting better. And
If you watch the Speed Racer cartoon, those are referred to as knock-knocks.
Knock-knocks?
Because when you push the button, they go knock-knock-knock-knock-knock. It was supposed to be funny. I'm not funny.
I don't
Let's move on. Keep talking.
Was. Okay, so these, I'm not gonna lie, I'm very excited to test these because I've never used these
you
before.
never used quick jacks?
No.
Oh.
I'm very excited. So these, we have a whole air compressor hookup there, and essentially when these are mounted on the car, this is what you see during the endurance races.
Yeah.
When the car pulls in, a guy comes up and connects an air compressor to it, and these
they go knock,
shoot
knock.
out. They go knock knock. Yep. And they lift the car.
Cool. And there's two in the front as well.
Yeah, two in the front as well.
Okay.
So
let's talk about you here. Let's also we got to see here's Hoosier Racing tires. Yes.
Oh yes.
For some reason, this car was riding on some DOT tires here, which are old and not appropriate for a car of this caliber and performance.
Pretty much just rollers, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they're also too tall, so naturally we've got a number of sets of Hoosiers here. So we have 3 different sizes of tires. It's going to bring the front down so we can get rake, and we have 2 different sizes of rear to test for optimum balance. It's not just about putting on the biggest tires in the world.
Oh yeah.
So okay, so before you came to Genius Garage, what was your schooling and where did you want to go?
My schooling, I went to Universal Technical Institute in Avondale, Arizona. So I went there to get a good automotive education, and I'd say I fairly did, but
how long were you there?
I was there for a year.
Okay.
And for 1 year, it was pretty good. So, but I was aiming and wanted to make a career out of, motorsports mechanics and maybe getting into, vintage racing or some type of like sports car racing. But an education from UTI won't just give you that right out of the gate. They'll give you a good education to get a job in the automotive field, but getting into racing
maybe working as a basic tech or something.
Yeah, like a basic tech, yeah. And it's great for that, but to get into racing and stuff, you need a bit more qualifications and experience in other fields. More. Yes.
Yeah. So what's your name and where are you from?
My name is Kameron, and I grew up in Reno, Nevada. That's where I spent most of my life. Since I got out of high school, I've moved around to Arizona, California, and yeah, that's where I moved here.
So UTI, so you had a negative experience after that working at an auto parts related store and them holding a carrot in front of you about going racing, but it never happened. What was the deal with that?
Yeah, so I won't give them a name specifically, but they sort of kept leading me on saying like,
giant automotive parts chain.
Yes, yeah, they were a giant automotive parts chain, and they were sort of kind of leading me on, and I kind of try to say it was all in good faith on their part, because I don't want to make them out to be like bad guys, but they promised, and they did have a racing team, and they said, we can get you on the racing team. And
why are you being so nice to them right now? They did lead you on.
They did, yeah, they led me on for a good 6-7 months.
Let's just say it's a valley in California where you can buy wine, but it's an auto parts place. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I may or may not be.
So how did they lead you on? How long did you work there?
I worked there for, end of August through, I came here in March, so through February.
Okay, so 6 months. So
yeah.
When you went on there, what did they promise you, or what was the direction?
The direction was that they were going to start me in on the auto care side of everything, where you're just working on normal road cars, and then they would slowly work me into the race side of the shop. Like the shop was sort of divided. There was like the racing side and then the auto care side, and you could walk back and forth. It was all one building.
Right.
But and they said they were promising me to get experience on the race side of the shop. And before all this happened, I did help them at a race in Tucson, Arizona.
Okay.
So
like you were a gopher?
Well, yeah, I guess they just needed an extra hand, but pretty much I now know it was a gopher. Yeah.
Okay.
But I enjoyed it. It was my first racing experience, so I had reason to believe that they were saying the truth here.
Yeah.
But that never happened. They just sort of kept leading me on at that shop, and then they ended up moving me to another shop that the racing team wasn't even there. It was just an auto care shop.
I see.
And sort of at that point, I started realizing like, this is probably not gonna go the way I intended. And
was that place connected with the school you were at, or is it a total separate thing?
It was just a separate thing.
Okay.
It was a separate thing.
But they always talked about racing like it was a big deal to get people to come in.
Yeah, they did. And I sort of...
That's how they get ya!
Yeah. I talked to other employees that were more experienced there, and they were telling me how like it's happened to other kids before, which is sad to hear, But
well, yeah, it is. But you're here, which is cool.
Exactly.
And you're totally working on a sweet race car.
Yes.
Which is technologically superior to a NASCAR anyway.
Yeah, I would say so. This thing's...
NASCAR is cool, but it's still a two-frame car.
Yeah, they're... Yeah.
Okay. So how do you like working on race cars now that you're doing it?
I've been really enjoying it. You know, I mean, doing the I've been really enjoying sort of the restoration feel of this one. You know, because we got this and it definitely needed help, and being able to bring it back, and now we're getting close to you know, bringing it back fully to life. And I've been really enjoying that sort of aspect of this.
Good.
So,
well, there's a good aspect to bringing the car back to life, totally, because you have to know what good is and get it there.
Yeah. Exactly.
So by doing this, you know this car even better than if somebody just handed you a perfect new race car.
Exactly. Yes,
you know what I mean?
Exactly right. Yeah.
So it's going to be nice. What now that you've been here for a good number of months, how do you feel comparatively to when you got here, relating to cars, your mechanical skills, your own confidence in your career?
I mean, definitely confidence and, you know, and all that is definitely up. And as far as mechanical skills, definitely. And probably the best thing, one of the things you don't think of that I've learned is just getting familiar with all of the vendors in the racing world, and talking to other employers now that I'm sort of looking into, you know, where I'm going to be going from here. I've been finding out that's actually fairly valuable, like knowing which vendors to go to for what parts, knowing who's reliable, and just knowing the people out there has been a very valuable thing I've learned, as well as the mechanical skill and definitely the confidence and, you know, being able to like, okay, I know what I'm doing, and just being able to go for it and do it. So
for sure. What are you hoping to do after this, and when?
Well, after this, I'm hoping to. I am still looking for a job, like, you know, still in some motorsports related. Roughly, I've been looking into sort of track day companies, because those seem to be like something that might be cool.
There's a couple of like companies that have a bunch of exotic cars and do track days.
Yeah, oh yeah, and things like that might seem fairly interesting to at least get a good start, and, you know, good place to be. Also looking into places that do vintage race car restorations.
Could be a good gig, or you could just get used.
Yep, exactly. And you
that's
got
racing everywhere.
And it is true. And you got, you know, so
it's true.
It's just things you look into, and you gotta be careful that, you know, I guess say you have a better idea of what to look out for. But yeah, gotta make sure you're not gonna just be the gopher.
Yeah.
And but yeah, looking into a few things like that, and I'm hoping to do that here probably coming up end of August, beginning of September.
Make a transition over, find something?
Yep, make a transition over.
Okay, so what can they all expect relating to this car? Presumably that it runs and doesn't blow up.
Presumably that it runs and doesn't blow up. We should...
Here, come on over here. So, when's this thing going to run? What are we going to do with it?
So, this thing, well, when it's going to run, hopefully we can get it started. I was hoping today, but, you know, we'll see what we can do here.
You got to be a little bit methodical.
Yeah, exactly. So, once we get it started, and as long as nothing blows up, essentially nothing horrible goes wrong. You know, I'm expecting maybe a few minor issues that we can hopefully address, and then get this thing testing next week. And, you know, at the end of the day, if that never happens, we'll definitely get this running, and we'll definitely be able to at least see what it can do, maybe back here around the shop, see if it rolls and under its own power.
Oh, I'm sure it will. As long as the clutch engages and it's running all right. Sure.
Exactly.
It's got brakes.
So.
Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah, we'll definitely see this running. Oh yeah, I'm getting excited. And
we're gonna have to paint it.
Yes.
How should we paint it?
Oh yes. Should we ask? Well, a lot of people were saying the Tecate beer livery.
Yeah. Somebody say we should do Corona because it's a Mexican beer and make it number 19.
Number 19? It should be number 11.
Well,
I already decided it's going to be number 11.
You missed the joke.
It's chassis number 11. I did miss the joke.
How did you miss that joke?
I don't know.
We're going to paint it Corona and make it number 19. It's a Mexican beer.
Yeah.
And also Corona. The name of something that's ruining the world right now.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, it's funny.
That's a good one.
It's funny.
That's a good one. I've been so used to calling it COVID.
Yeah, let's not. Anyway, so Tecate. You should ask Freddie what he thinks we should do.
Yeah, I think I will. I'll probably message him and I'll see what he thinks we should do.
Okay, that's cool. So he might do a YouTube interview with us, but my gut feeling is he wants to wait until we make a car that doesn't suck. Yes, pretty much. I agree with that. Yeah, I think it seems like he'll probably want us to get this thing up and running. And, I don't blame him. It's going to be good. Oh, yeah. And then maybe we can see what y'all think about it. So. You think it'll sound good? I'm very interested to see what this will sound like. I mean... Should be pretty snappy. Yeah, it should be pretty... Yeah, I think it will sound pretty rippy. So. Okay. All right, man. Well, I'll let you get back to work, but I hope you guys enjoyed coming back with Kameron in the Tame Prototipo car, and we'll come back. Hopefully next week it runs. Yeah, hopefully. Sure. Okay. See you guys next time.